GMR.
It's the Too Close for Comfort podcast again. Too Close for Podcast. Is that a complete sentence? Is that a proper sentence? Too Close for Podcast. Has the word podcast been accepted as a word in the English language by now? Either way, this is a podcast, and it's about Too Close for Comfort. I'm Marty Catola.
And I'm Gene Mott.
Today we'll be talking about episode 4 of season 1. From way back in November 25th, 1980. I guess this was a Thanksgiving episode.
So, November 25th, 1980.
Yeah, we're still in the 1980 shows.
What a Thanksgiving. Because this is the episode where we first are introduced to Monroe.
That's right. It's called Sarah's Monroe Doctrine.
Wow, because I would have never known that back in the day. I wonder if I watched this. I bet I did, because it was on after Three's Company. So I'm pretty sure I was watching this episode. I was a fan. 1980, I'm 11 years old. And what's better than Three's Company and Too Close for Comfort? I'm not even sure what else was on that night. Do you remember the lineup?
Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, well, I was down. I was certainly down. Because Happy Days, that was probably even before the Mork from Mork episode. When did Mork come out? Do you remember this?
Mork was in the 70s, and
No.
so this is the 80s,
So these were all running. ABC was just killing it.
It's a golden
Killing
time
it.
for television. They say TV's good now, but TV was good then, too.
This was the Modern Family, or at least the middle of that time period, right?
Yeah.
The Goldbergs. It was at least the Goldbergs. Which none of these shows Marty watches. Because he's at work.
I'm too busy watching Too Close for Comfort, taking notes.
You gotta take the notes, bro. Because if you don't got the notes, then you have jokes.
So let me give my brief synopsis. Monroe Ficus follows Sarah home, then never leaves. It's the Rush's 24th anniversary also.
So in this episode, Sarah brings Monroe home. So what's going on there, Marty? We see Monroe for the first time.
Yeah, it seems like he's just going to be another throwaway guest star, but no. He's the one that stays and just stays.
When she found him, she goes to college with him.
Yes.
She goes to San Francisco State. And what was that thing about his fiancée?
That's just some strange throwaway there that we never talk about ever again. But apparently Monroe was engaged for the first time in the series. Stay tuned, and we'll get back to Monroe being engaged much later down the line. But this show is quite old. I think, spoiler alert, in the fact that you're listening to this podcast goes quite beyond the fact that I'm ruining anything for you. Besides, you know how this show works. By the time the episode ends, everything is pretty much back to the way it was when the episode started. Kind of like The Simpsons, that reset button. But yeah, Monroe was engaged? That's what I have written down here.
What? The one and only time we hear about this, because they totally think that Monroe, who was referred to as a puppy dog, he doesn't even want to come in the house. He's just standing outside. Anyway, we learned that he's engaged at one point.
Yeah, it's like learning all those characters' names in previous episodes that we're never gonna meet these people.
Yeah.
Never gonna see Wanda with the big glasses.
There should have been an episode. They knew how to cut corners. Let's just keep it all. Everything happens in this house. Rarely did they ever go outside the house. As we'll learn tonight, there would have been perfect opportunities to leave the house.
Yeah, it takes a while before they venture outside.
So it's the same day they meet Monroe, it's their 24th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's a coincidence. Their anniversaries play a part in the show for at least a couple more years until I think they just forget about it in the storyline. Or they were uneventful, so we didn't get an episode about it.
And Henry can't get a reservation as himself, so they bet on it, and he pretends to be a doctor and ends up winning $2, which he says will buy a fine cocktail or something to that effect.
And that was a one-sided phone conversation to the restaurant, wasn't it?
Now, how many one-sided conversations were there in this episode?
There was 3.
3.
And I believe this was the first use of the phone in the kitchen.
And that phone and that weird accordion.
Yeah.
What would you call that? Weird accordion.
Exactly. Like the old-style telephone.
No, I never had a phone with an accordion hook up to the wall.
The thing you hold to your ear of the piece and you talk
No, it was an old
it.
Andy Griffith style phone, but with an accordion setup connected to the wall, so they could just pull it out like at 6 feet or something. Then they're having they're sitting around eating chicken for some reason. Cut to they're having a family dinner, and Monroe's there, and he doesn't want to be any sort of burden, so he'd rather just stand in the hall. Honestly, right? At this point, Monroe is seriously a screwed up individual. He'd rather stand in the hall. And then they say, "Hey, Monroe, tell us a little bit about yourself." What do you have on those notes?
I just have that there's a subversive chicken joke.
Okay.
Which is interesting for a primetime television show, pointing out the atrocities of chicken farming.
That might be the first time I've ever heard the atrocities of chicken farming. Just spells out to me. But we learn at this point, that Monroe is 5'10", 165 pounds.
He delivers newspapers by day, so he has newspaper experience way before season 6.
He does in the mornings, actually, so... Yeah. He's up. What time you got to get up to deliver those papers, bro?
Oh, middle of the night.
Like 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
You got to get out there because they drop them off 4, right? You got to be ready at 4, and then you got to get them out by 5:30. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Monroe's doing on the daily. Because you don't get a day off when you're doing papers. There is no such thing as a day off. It's a paper. Like mailmen, they get a day off. It's Sunday, right? And then we also learn that he performs occasionally as a street singer at night.
Yeah, this is the first appearance of not only Monroe, but his guitar, which shows up occasionally. So I'm guessing he's using the guitar at the street singing. Shacky!
We also learn that he doesn't eat chicken because of the cruel and unusual practices of raising them, including injecting them with hormones and ripping their beaks off.
Which makes everybody else in the family not want to eat. And hey, that's the first time Monroe comes to dinner with the family. Something that'll happen so much that if you made a drinking game out of it, you probably wouldn't make it too far into most episodes.
And then cut to downstairs, and we get our first, what I've written down as the first chair gag, where Mr. Rush takes a tumble off of one of the chairs. The unusual furniture provided by, what's his name?
Oh, Rafkin. He even has Monroe sit in the chair, hoping he'll fall. And of course, Monroe can balance perfectly in the chair.
Now we also learned, I skipped this point, Monroe's parents are in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
And they want nothing to do with him, apparently. they want to disown this cat. We get a phone call, another phone call. This time it's from Monroe. Monroe's in jail and he needs $200 bail to get out. And then Henry hangs up the phone on him. He's like, oh, I don't get time for this. I gotta go it's my anniversary. I got better things to do than deal with that. And then the phone rings again and it's Sarah. And she's in jail too.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, now he has to do something about it, right?
Now, what's strange about this is Monroe and Sarah are in jail, and the phrase "only phone call" comes up again. That was mentioned in the last episode. The joke about he's only got one phone call. Yeah, but he's already in jail. About Henry's lawyer being in jail, and in the very next episode, we get in jail with only one phone call again. It's just one of the weird phenomenons that happen where it's not really repeating itself, but a phrase will pop up again.
Yeah, well, see, I'm not sure who wrote this episode compared to the last episode.
A subconscious callback.
We're going to have to make a database in your computer so we can just quickly tap up this information. Is that what the kids are saying? Tap up?
Well, that's what they're going to start saying.
Wow. Tell them what they got arrested for.
Street performing?
Street singing.
Street singing.
They bail them out, and they decide to have the anniversary dinner celebration together because it's family and everybody's out of jail. And Muriel goes upstairs to get the special crystal, or the special cups. Did she say they were crystal?
Glasses?
The glasses, that's right. I'm assuming they were crystal. Yeah, we quickly learned that they were crystal because Monroe, he's like, over the lips, over the tongues, look out, stomach, here it comes. Is that what he did?
Yeah.
And then he just smashes it in the fireplace. Was there a fireplace? There must have been.
The fireplace, yeah.
And he's like, oh, I saw that in a movie one time.
Another hint of why Monroe's parents don't want anything to do with him.
Why they're in Miami now and just ignore him?
Yeah.
Later on, we actually meet Monroe's dad.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good. I forget who played him, but he's a classic comedian. Like old school.
Well, the show has changed once again with this episode. Now it's like the show's really started,
Yeah. So we learned that Monroe has smashed the good crystal. So then Monroe is so broken up about this, he just vanishes. He's gone for 4 days. He's not going to school. Nobody's seen him. And we find out he's been in Bakersfield. He went to Bakersfield, turned some extra money so he could replace the crystal.
So that episode featured the first appearance of Jim J. Bullock. He spells it J-M, or maybe it's a typo. I don't understand that. And he's the only guest star in the entire episode this week as well. Cosmic Cow references quite a few.
All right.
It was up for Cartoon of the Year, cartoon, but it was beaten by Arnold the Aardvark, which is Herb's strip of Herb and Marcia fame, much, much later in the show. Cosmic Cow sweater. This is the first time we see the Cosmic Cow sweater.
Very cool.
And we also see the drawing board with the Cosmic Cow.
I'd totally wear that to Comic-Con, except it's 108 degrees. Otherwise, that'd be awesome.
Henry's wearing the sweater shirt combo, but no college logo, which is weird. First appearance of Monroe, and he's in stripes. Henry points once in this episode. I could have sworn I heard him stammer at least once. And apparently there was at least one grocery bag in this episode as well, too. As far as the intro goes, we got the first Golden Gate Bridge trolley edition. And the Nancy and Lydia pictures have switched back. The subversive things in the episode were the chicken joke. And apparently there was a police minorities joke as well that I don't remember, but I thought it was, that's kind of racy for back then. I'll give this one a 4, almost a 5. This is a nearly perfect episode. what other weird things happened? Either there was a mention or Monroe was actually in a closet in this episode.
He was constantly standing in the hallway.
Ha ha, Monroe's in the closet. That's kind of funny. And also a nice pour from Mr. Rush when he tops Monroe's glass off. Gets it all the way to the top of the rim, not one spill in there.
He's like, chug this wine.
Alcohol causes you to die quicker. Here, drink this.
I hate you.
So on this very special episode, we learned that Monroe is the ultimate and perfect interloper, so much to where he ceases to be an interloper and just becomes an indispensable part of the cast. It's like watching It's Always Sunny without Frank on it. And Monroe was engaged?
Exactly.
We'll see you next week. For Que Sera Sera, or Que Sera Sera, where Sarah gets a job as a waitress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm looking forward to that one. You can hear my show on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Create custom playlists. Rate and review my show on Stitcher. And over 4 million car dashboards.
On demand and on the go. No downloading, no syncing, no wasted memory. Stream your favorite podcasts. Don't have Stitcher? Download it free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store.